Ciao Juventini, a little bit of a light news day as Nicola Schira seems to be the only one working today, so we're going to focus on his reports, but there is interesting ones we need to talk about, and that is definitely the new rounds of discussions between Chelsea and Juventus around the Lukaku-Vlahovic swap. We also have some rumblings about where Vlahovic actually stands in all this and the latest on his physical fitness report as we get ready for the friendly against Atalanta, and there's also a couple other players that we're going to get status reports on, players that should hopefully have another big impact on the team. All right, so like the video, subscribe to the channel. This is the AJC. I'm Alberto. Let's rock. We're going to kick things off with Schira giving us a hard timeline on the meeting set between Salernitana and Juventus. He says that on Monday, the two teams will meet. The three players are as suggested and reported by many sources: Miretti, Luca Gonzalez, and Hans-Nico Caviglia. These are the three players Salernitana would like to take. Now, a couple of them are loans with option to purchase. That's Miretti and Nico Caviglia. I don't think Juve is going to give up Miretti completely. They may not also give up Nico Caviglia completely. As far as Facundo Gonzalez goes, it is definitely only a loan, as Juventus has just picked up the young Uruguayan defender, okay? Now, you know where I stand as far as the two midfielders involved are, and this has everything to do with Paul Pogba's status. Now, in a couple of videos ago, I kind of spoke a little bit about my feelings on the Paul Pogba situation. I continuously got DMs and messages on WhatsApp and even on Twitter and whatnot about, you know, how do you feel about this situation? Like, what are your thoughts on Paul Pogba? As everybody, there's a growing group of Juventini that just have a lot of resentment towards Paul Pogba, and it's hard to feel that way because of his injury. So the only way I could summarize it is this: I love the guy. I'm rooting for the guy. I know he's going to have a big impact for this team. However, I have zero faith in his body, okay? That's kind of where I stand. That's how I summarize it. If I were looking at this team and I was involved in this team and we were going to make a call and say we wanted to go into the 23-24 season with 6 midfielders because we're playing 3 every lineup, I would not count Paul Pogba as one of those 6 midfielders. So I would count your 6 midfielders and Pogba would be the 7th, and he would be a luxury. There's no doubt he'll have an impact for the minutes he is out there, but you just can't bank on this guy's body. All right, so that's how I feel about it. You guys know the drill. Let me know what you think in the comment section, but I would not count him. And that's why when we talk about this Salernitana move and 2 midfielders being involved, Nico Caviglia and Miretti, if you need one of those guys to make up your 6, not counting Pogba, then pump the brakes on making a decision on Monday. That's how I feel. Now, we get to Luca Pellegrini, and Nicola Schira reports that he has rejected 2 bids because he wants to return to Lazio. Okay, so there is an offer on the table for Juventus. It is a loan with option to purchase. Furthermore, Pellegrini is being reported that he is willing to sacrifice some of his salary and take a pay cut in order to facilitate the return to Lazio. So we know the numbers are very weak in terms of reimbursement from Lazio, and Juve is not necessarily happy with that as they're lowballing us, but we also do not have any leverage if the player's will is solely to return to Lazio. So Juve was able to take advantage of a couple scenarios where the player's will was to join Juventus, and this is a scenario where it's kind of hurting us and we don't necessarily have any leverage and we need to make moves. But we'll definitely keep eyes on what's going to happen with Pellegrini, but it looks like he only wants Lazio. Now, Nicola Schira brings us the latest on the big one, and that is the swap between Lukaku and Vlahovic. He says there are new rounds of discussions set to take place between Chelsea and Juventus. He also reports that Juve continue to look for some reimbursement in terms of 30 to 40 million euros on top of Lukaku for Vlahovic to head to Chelsea. He also reports that Chelsea's last offer was 25 million euros. So when you look at this number, they are not very far apart whatsoever. The other thing that's interesting to factor in here is we were hearing that Chelsea had no interest in Dusan Vlahovic heading over. All right. So obviously, if Nicola Schira, who's highly credible, reports that they had an offer in the 25 million euros, that basically kills the rumor that they're not interested in the player. So they are interested in Dusan Vlahovic joining their club. All right. Now, furthermore, we're getting reports that Vlahovic wants to remain at Juventus as he's only focused on getting himself right, physically fit, 100%, and doing his best for Juventus. Now, what's interesting to think about this is you always have to take reports, any reports you hear, with a grain of salt, but especially these ones, because you have to think about this one. This offer was put on the table for Chelsea in July, and they had rejected it. So a couple things could have happened. Juve obviously would have then shifted their focus on other guys to make moves and sales and whatnot, and it just isn't panning out the way they wanted to, so they had to revisit this. They had to put this back on the table for Chelsea. Now, the other thing you'd have to think about is with these rumors swirling around and whatnot, did they not check with Vlahovic to see if he's willing to move to Chelsea? Or are they just keeping it hush-hush to see if they can even find terms with Chelsea before bringing it up to Vlahovic? That's also a possibility. I don't really know how they operate or how they make these moves or how they do these deals. So I don't know if the club just keeps it completely hush-hush until the deals are done and then approaches the player and say, hey, look, we have a deal with you to head to this club, and see if they're willing to accept or whatnot. So time will tell where Vlahovic truly stands on this, because they're not far off. And if they find a move, then we will know what Vlahovic's intentions are, because he could, of course, block it by not accepting to join Chelsea. So that report, we will just have to wait to see if it pans out. There are still some Juventini hanging on to the fact that we are probably just messing with Inter, and we have recently seen this morning that Inter has lost their target Scamacca as he is set to join Atalanta. All right, so if this is a play by Juve, then bravo and well done, because you are seriously committed as this has gone on. But the latest reports also state that this could be a standoff between Chelsea and Juve that heads deep into this month of August. All right. Now, as far as Vlahovic and his physical status, he is looking good and looking strong and working very, very hard, and wants to start in the next friendly against Atalanta and should be getting the nod from the get-go. Another two players that should be getting the nod in that match and getting some minutes and returning are Rabiot and Fagioli, and we've seen some good positive signs in the two friendlies against Milan and Madrid, and I'm looking for these two to further have an impact on this team and help it and give it a major boost. All right, so great news there that they should be ready for that friendly. As far as Rovella, his status report is he is going to be very, very close to returning for season opener. All right, and still kind of undetermined what's going to happen with him on the roster, but I do still expect him to stay, but we'll see. That's your news update to today, everybody. You guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about all the news you heard here, and I can't wait to hear your opinions and mix it up with you. All right, and I'm going to get ready to continue my tournament. All right, so thank you to everybody who's been reaching out in support for the tourney. I'll give you a quick status update. Last night we won our first match 5-1. We continue with a game today. We have another one tomorrow, which will wrap up round robin, and then we get into the knockout rounds. All right, so my body is definitely feeling it. I've played 3 matches in 4 days, and yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm getting older, everybody, but hey, thank you for all the well wishes and good luck. Hopefully we bring home the W today, and I'll keep you updated tomorrow. The live show for this weekend, again, because of this tournament going on, is actually going to be Monday. And yes, that is still the weekend for me because it's a long weekend over here, all right? So everybody, we'll mix it up. Take care. We'll talk tomorrow. As always, fino alla fine, forza Juve. Ciao tutti.